deep in an underground secret Pacific Island lair, Pop Culture Minefield presents Saturday Morning Fun.
Good morning, everybody. It is Saturday, and I guess one good thing we can have here is a little Tom Connors singing a song that he made for that I asked him to make for Greg and me here. Remember this song, Greg?
I remember this.
Oh, yes, it's 80s night, and the feeling's right. Oh, yes, it's 80s night, oh, what a night. Oh, what a night. Oh, yes, it's 80s night, and the feeling's right. Oh, yes,
I couldn't believe he did that for you.
I got a video of it together with it.
Yeah, I've got that saved on my hard drive too. I'm never losing it. I thought that was so funny, man. And I pretty much just gave it to you because I did a different thing for our intro for 80s stuff. Because I'm like, oh, he did that really. And it's not right that I should use it too, but I fucking love that song. So I'm sitting there going, oh, you know what we need to do? We need to take the song Ladies Night and change the words to 80s Night. And then I went, hey, Tom. Wouldn't it be cool if he did that? And he did. He fucking did that for us. And Tom will be dropping in the second hour because he's streaming right now. And we talk because he's got, and it's something I think you and I both love about Tom. And Tom has a great opinion about 80s movies.
Oh, yes.
He really does.
Definitely.
And he loves this movie.
Oh, yeah. I'm right there with him.
Yeah, ditto. I remember I would see this. I just turned 20 when it came out. And look at you nerd.
nice.
Well, nerd? What do you mean, nerd? Come on, man. Come on. It's what we're here for, right? We're nerds, right?
Look at that. He has fingernails.
Yeah. You just saw that, honey. That's awesome. But
I just came back and that's what I see.
Greg and I streamed previously a couple of years ago, and then we just stopped hanging out. And it kind of like
you don't write, you don't call.
I know. It's just,
broke up
I
with
met
me.
someone new and moved on. No, but I'm always thinking about you, and I'm like, God, I love his show. I love Fanzine. I love what you do.
I'm always thinking about you too, buddy.
And it's like, I need to find a way to get him to, and Saturday is the day to do it. Because especially when we're doing 80s stuff, I'm like, I got to get you on here, man. So we can just kind of hang out and watch, our slideshows. And we do just like Toxic Tuesday. That's where I learned it from Mark D. Mark C with a big D is what I call him. And Mark showed me how to make these things. And I showed Martin here how to do it. And so we do the slideshows just like Toxic Tuesday. And by the way, I've missed a couple more Toxic Tuesdays, and I'm going to get back on there, guys. It's just been, I've had some crazy deadlines recently from Julia, and the stuff had to be done like now. And books are going out, and we're having problems with the author because he didn't want the covers. He wanted photo covers after the artwork had already been part of the artwork had been created. And then it became kind of like this tug of war battle. And then finally I was told, we need it, but we needed it last week. And I'm like, what? So the pressure was on. And I've got it done. And they're very happy with the artwork. Julia was like almost in tears. She was so happy with the last cover. But they're my bosses. I've worked for them for 18 years. Nice. Dale Dye from Warriors Inc. And it's one of my longest professional relationships. And I'm so grateful to them. They treat me so nicely. And they deal with my medical stuff because, with my neck, the problems I have with my neck. I'll go, yep, bad day. I'm not going to be doing any artwork today. They'll leave me the fuck alone.
Yeah.
And but I've been wearing this more, and it hurts. My neck is hurting right now, but it's like it's doing so much better with the neck brace on. And I'm starting to realize that, because when I lost my Cintiq, well, I didn't have a Cintiq, I had a Unova tablet, 21-inch tablet that I could set on my desktop or lay on my lap and draw right on the glass, screen. And when we had that fire, do you remember that fire, Greg?
Yeah, I remember that. I remember when you were telling me about that.
I lost it. It was destroyed in the fire. And it wasn't destroyed by the fire. It was destroyed by the smoke and the chemical in the water that they used to put out the fire. That stuff is caustic. And it just destroyed the circuitry. And I'm like, I haven't had a new one since. And I've been using a tabletop tablet. It's just not the same thing. I'm having troubles with it because I can't finish lines correctly. Mm-hmm. Because I've been too many years using the other one. Because I originally trained on a bamboo tablet and was able to draw better. But it's like my brain doesn't work the same way anymore. So I have trouble with it. And so I tend to now focus more on trying to draw on paper. But I'm also not enjoying that either. Doing art. No, that's not true. But it feels that way.
Same old Gary.
Yeah. Good old Gary. Saying things that don't make sense. But we're going to talk about just a classic film here. And I got to tell you, except for one scene, one moment in the film, I think stands up to today as far as effects go. It was all done. Most of it was in camera. Mm-hmm. There's one. It's the moment you'll see it where she turns her back on him at the end.
Oh yes, you will see.
And they did some animation. They did that, and I don't think that stands up as well, but it looks good. Anima loved it when she saw it. But the scene, of course, I'm referring to is the doll being pulled through the window. The doll, it just doesn't even look like the real thing. And I'm not sure what they were thinking when they did that. And that somewhere along the lines, someone didn't go, we have the money, we can fix that.
Yeah.
We fixed it. So I think it's because Wes Craven is a better filmmaker than George Lucas or Steven Spielberg in the fact that he understands that a film isn't completed, it's abandoned, and you walk the hell away from it and just accept it for what it is. Right?
Right.
I think Wes Craven was like that and said, no, we're not going to go back and fix that.
Yeah, he did it, and that's why he made it. So that's why he's leaving it.
That's it. That's the way it is.
And that scene, the way it looks, is now part of the culture. You cannot take that away.
I think Craven also was done with the movie because he didn't get the ending that he would have preferred.
Yeah, what was the ending he wanted?
And happy ending that she wakes up in the end in that morning scene and everything was one.
Yeah, because New Line Cinema, the house that Freddie built, New Line Cinema, New Line Cinema saw the money cow, and they wanted it to feel like this could continue. And of course, that's what they did.
To set it up for sequels. Yes, that's why they went with the other ending that leaves everything open.
Yes,
I get both sides, to be honest.
Now, what is that?
That's the Blu-ray. It's the Blu-ray set of all the movies.
Oh.
Still waiting on the 4Ks. We might be getting the 4K of the first movie next year. So that's all the movies right there.
Yeah, because I can hardly wait to see that doll being pulled through the window in 4K.
Well, as Tom will tell you, Tom Connors, there's been a 4K of the first movie mastered for years now. They just have never released it.
Why?
It's Warner Brothers, man. They own it. For whatever reason, they have a tendency to do this stuff.
Fucking Warner Brothers, man.
Yeah, tell me.
Speaking of Warner Brothers, how about that news story that popped out this week of Elon Musk while he was with Crazy Bitch? Threatened through his lawyers, to burn Warner Brothers studio to the ground.
Insane.
Biblical destruction of Warner Brothers if they dared to remove Amber Heard.
That guy is losing it. Just because
he was when he was with her.
Oh. Yeah, that must have damaged him.
Being around Amber Heard would drive anybody crazy.
Yeah, man.
Yep.
Bed pooper. All right, who's all here? Let's see who's all here. We've got, let's see, Andy Morrow is here. Slasher Fred is here. Jesse Gallardo
Yes, Guajardo.
Gallardo?
Guajardo.
Guajardo. Lady V Elements is here, of course. Continuum Chronicles. Let's see who else dropped in. Admiral Teague is here. Yes. What is up, my friend? DJ Ronnie G. And Penny is here. Hi, Penny. And anybody else popping in? I know it's
Yes, this one. Emotionally
unstable
unstable.
amphibian.
I love that name.
What a great name. And Connie Cleary is here. Hi, Connie. I'm seeing a couple of new names, so welcome to the channel. I hope you enjoy it. Tom Connor from Midnight Sets will be joining us in the second hour. He's popping in because I asked him as a personal favor because I love his opinion on so much of this film. Mm-hmm. And I wanted him to pop in and give us his 2 cents on this classic movie. So that's for Fred. What's that?
We've talked to Nightmare on Elm Street a lot. Me and Tom have. Yes. So.
Yeah. The guy, look, the reason I'm friends with you and him so much is because of our passionate love for 80s horror.
Mm-hmm.
Because the three of us love 80s horror. I've told people again and again, the best horror films, my favorite horror films, almost all of them came out in the 80s.
Yes, sir.
Because they were edgy and it was like new territory for them. And we had just gotten into using synthesizers for soundtracks.
Music.
And then you also had the induction of rock soundtracks. Because, I mean, Lost Boys soundtrack is one of the greatest soundtracks in cinema history.
Yep.
Yeah. Also, makeup took a huge advance during the 80s.
Thanks to guys like Rob Bottin and his former teacher, Rick Baker.
Yep.
Yep.
You know, the reason why the 80s had great music and great movies? They needed to make up for the fashion of their hairstyles.
You can shut up now, Anima. Thank you.
80s was the height of fashion.
It's 80s night. Anyway,
no.
I see Scribelight is here too, my good friend. It's good to see everybody. Hope everybody's having a wonderful Saturday. We're going to get into the slideshow here in a second. And before we do, Greg, you got anything you want to point out? And by the way, if you are not subscribed to my friend Greg's channel, Fanzine, share that in the private chat so Martin can share it to the group. And you guys need to be subscribed to Fanzine because I don't think any channel does a better job of talking about 80s horror than your channel, Fanzine.
Well, thank you. I try my best. I try to do a plethora of topics.
Oh, don't try to talk over my audience with big words.
I try to do a lot of things on my channel. Physical media based 80s horror in general. So many.
Yeah, and that's the other thing you guys are pushing, and I'm supporting is physical media. Man, we're losing it right now. Best Buy is shutting it down. Too much theft in California has destroyed.
It's insane. Best Buy was on its way out, anyways. It's been.
That's all they really had. It's electronics and
it's basically a phone kiosk now. That's all it is.
It's just embarrassing.
Barnes and Noble. That's all we got left.
Yeah, Barnes and Noble. They
well, you can still get physical media on Amazon and on eBay.
Well, that's what I want to say. Like, because I do that. Is physical media is not dying. It's not dead. It's not going anywhere. Like you hear these stories, like Best Buy, they're no longer selling physical media. Target no longer selling physical media. Thing is, with physical media, it's gone back to the collector. It's changed in the way it's consumed. It's more of a niche audience now. It's mostly boutique labels, boutique stores, online businesses. So it's basically collective people collecting it. So it's not dead or dying or going anywhere. It's just changed. It's no longer mainstream because everybody streams everything now.
Walmart's supposed to expand theirs.
Yes, they made a deal with the SDS to expand in physical media because they're the number one seller of physical media, surprisingly, in stores and stuff. They have it's like a 1 billion something industry, and they hold like half of it. So,
that's interesting.
The problem also happens is some things are just out of print, and they're not going to get brought back because they were never that big to begin with. Like one DVD I was thankfully able to find after a while because I'd lost it. Because on Amazon it's like $100 is Gunhead, And it's a sci-fi. It's a Japanese sci-fi movie with battle tank and everything.
It's an
else.
anime done in live action. It's one of the first I'd ever seen with a black actor in a Japanese action. Because I hate saying it, sound negative, but Japan's pretty racist.
No, they are.
They really are. And black people are typically representative of villains in a lot of their anime. And Gunhead didn't do that, and it surprised me. And I'm a big fan of that film, by the way, too.
Yeah, but
And
it's
if I
the fact that
recall-
it's not on Blu-ray, and
I can't find it anywhere. All I have is an SD copy of it.
Yeah, that's all there is.
I would
There's
love
the
to have an
DVD.
HD copy.
Gary,
of
I can hook you up.
Okay. By the way, John is my personal drug dealer for movies.
Yep.
Him and Mark
Yeah.
Center. Mark Center's always hooking me up too
Do you
for
want me to show
obscure titles.
Yeah, something else about Gunhead. It was put out by the same company that makes Godzilla, Toho.
Yeah, Toho.
Yeah,
Do you want me to
Look,
bring
I got to
the?
tell you, I love the miniatures in that movie. It was a really well done
Yeah.
film. I love the use of the B-17 as their spaceship. Everything about that movie was great.
Oh yeah.
But Martin, you keep starting to say something.
Yeah, you keep talking over me. I was
Well, it's
asking.
because we're doing a show. You didn't know that.
those are.
Do you want me to pull up the slideshow?
Yes.
Okay.
You should have said it. Do you want me to pull it out?
Oh,
I'll whip it out. That was the original New Line Cinema logo right there.
Yes.
There we go.
Yes.
Yep.
Classic.
Yeah, and didn't they get their name?
There's a
because-
great little documentary about how New Line Cinema, the house that Freddie built. And I can't find it. I can't remember where I saw it in the first place, but it was a really good documentary.
Was that one of the early Nightmare DVDs? Because back when they actually made good
I can't remember, dude.
good features in the DVD era.
I've killed
I missed
way
that.
too many brain cells that I'm starting to forget.
Thank you.
Certain things. Very good. I'm glad you did, Penny. You will like him. He is far more clean cut than us.
Well, other than when I talk
That's
about
not
boobs.
a hard thing to do.
The
I
most.
had a-
I talk
I
about
had a thing
boobs a
for
lot.
her as an
so-
actress. She was a cutie.
I had forgotten that because I rewatched this today. I'd forgotten this is Johnny Depp's first movie.
yes.
He plays the boyfriend.
I would
Yep.
not have recognized him. If
And a
they
lot of
hadn't
people
told
think he
me that
dies
he's in there.
earlier in the film, and he doesn't. He actually makes it all the way to the third act.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's the catalyst for her going, I've had it.
Well, I got to
See,
tell you that I remember reading in Fangoria about that bed scene, and I could hardly wait to see it. I was like, "Oh my god, how did they do this?" That is so
With the
awesome.
rotating room and everything.
Oh, the
yeah.
rotating room with her character. Yeah,
Yeah, with
Yeah.
her.
they rotate
yeah.
the room with her, and then they have the upside down room for the Johnny Depp death scene for the
Oh,
blood
yeah.
But that room,
explosion of
yeah,
a
but that
thousand
room,
times more blood than is in the human body.
that room rotates too, because at the end you see the blood.
That's right.
Just
It's
going-
sloshing. It's sloshing
Yeah.
on the ceiling.
And that's what I like about this because it's very
Yeah,
much
that
in the
she's-
vein of Hitchcock and stuff like that. Is like you follow
Mm-hmm.
Tina for the most part in the beginning of the movie before you realize, nope, Tina is not the hero of the movie. She's not the star. So
And she
I
even
love
looks like the actress of
yeah,
Psycho.
Yeah.
yeah, Janet
Tippi
Leigh.
Hedren.
Yeah.
No, that Tippi
Janet
Hedren was
Leigh.
Birds.
Tippi
yeah,
was the
Janet
Birds.
Leigh.
Tippi Hedren
Yeah.
Birds.
And in mythological terms, I always consider this it's similar to the whole maze of the Minotaur. Like this is basically when you don't have a way back. And it's also great because this sets up what's gonna the ending that Nancy's falling along this woman's path.
Yeah, I love it. The story that I remember that most that Wes Craven, he said how he came up with sort of the look for Freddy Krueger, because him and his younger, I believe it was his younger brother, if I remember the story correctly, they were left home alone one night up in their suburban house up in Cleveland, I believe. I think he's from Cleveland. I know he's from Ohio. But there was an old dirty man wearing an old dirty brown hat standing outside of his house one night when him and his brother was left alone, scared the crap out of them. They ran to their bedroom and they looked out the window, and he was standing there under their bedroom window for like hours, and then they like hid, and then when they went back, he was gone. So that's sort of how the idea of the look of Freddy comes about. Plus, then he read the story about people dying in their sleeps. And then
it was Malaysian.
Yeah, the Malaysian. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you kind of combine that, and we get a Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah.
The other part with the look of Freddy, I think it was a psychology book, and the red and green color, like it does something.
Yeah, like the red and green. Yes. It's like the lights, like red and green lights, something about like if you put them in the right way, it like can hypnotize you and stuff.
And of course, everybody knows in photography and in art that red and green are opposite of each other.
Yep.
On the spectrum.
That's why in an OR everything is green.
So blood shows up.
Yeah.
Gotta love Heather Langenkamp. She was awesome in this.
Oh yeah.
I love this scene when they're playing. I had my cousin recorded at they recorded it at his house, and it's like a car accident and everything happening on the tape. I love it.
Yeah.
Oh my God, they shit on him so bad in that, because what he's trying to do is create cover noise, to make it sound like he's where he's supposed to be, and they actually add like other sound effects and shit to it.
It's like a motorcycle car accident going on.
Gunfire. He goes, "There's a fight outside, Mom. Yeah, I better go."
He gets so stressed out, and the girls are just laughing their asses off. It's great.
Such a good movie.
Another important thing
Go ahead.
this movie does is a lot of the implications of what Freddy did, because they just said he murdered children, but there's a heavy like subconscious subtext that they do where he was probably a child abuser, but it's never explicitly said. It's just visually told to you.
Yeah.
And I like how they hint about the backstory of Freddy with the sheriff and Nancy's mom.
And the whole backstory evolves a little bit because eventually we get Son of a Thousand Maniacs. We get more detail in time of who he was and what he did. But in this film, they give you the basics. The basics that would be used later in the other films, like Dream Warriors, taps right into two things that happen in this about lucid dreaming. That's brought up in this film twice.
Oh, I love Dream Warriors, man. That's probably the best sequel.
Yeah,
it's my favorite. It is my favorite. My least favorite was the one with Roseanne and Tom Arnold in it.
Freddy dead. Yeah. I gotta say, Part 1, 3, and New Nightmare are probably my top 3.
New Nightmare. There you go. I actually like 2. 2 has its place in my heart for a reason, because when he comes up out of the ground at the pool party, and that guy says, "Hey man, we're here to help you, man. We're here to help you," because they think he's a homeless guy. And he says, "Help yourself, fucker," and then guts him. It was like one of the greatest moments in horror film history.
The Part 2 has, Part 2 has the scariest Freddy. The scariest version of Freddy, Part 2 has.
Oh, when he pulls a piece of his brain out too. He says, "You're the looks, I'm the brains."
I'm not a huge fan of it, and it has nothing to do with making the most gayest movie of all time. And nothing to do with that.
I told Anima about that. That movie is really very gay.
It plays more like an Amityville horror sequel than it does a Freddy movie, is my biggest problem. Because like when they move into Freddy's house, they tell him the story about Nancy and what happened to her, seeing her boyfriend but dying across the street and everything, how the house could be sort of haunted, and he sort of gets possessed by Freddy. It feels more like an Amityville horror sequel than it does a Freddy movie to me.
It does, but it still has, like I said, for me, it's still something I love because there's some great gags in there, and it's all because of Freddy.
Yeah, it's got great Freddy. It's like
Robert
the most scariest
Englund.
version.
Robert Englund is just one of the greatest penultimate horror villains in
Welcome,
the history
Bush.
of film.
Hi, Boosh. Where have you been?
Bush.
There's a pretty funny skit on Mad TV where they have Robert Englund guest starring, and then they keep associating him with V because he was a super nice guy. He wants to be associated with.
Yeah, he's so likable.
Yeah, it's like, oh my god, you're like, no, I was Freddy fucking Krueger, terrifying, evil. Oh my god, I loved you in V.
But he was great in V. I became a fan of his because of that show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where I first saw him.
There's a
And I'm
great
like, going,
documentary.
he's going to be the murderer, killer monster in this? What?
Yeah.
And
There's
boy,
a great
he pulled it off.
There's a great documentary called Hollywood Dreams and Nightmares, the Robert Englund story. I highly recommend it if you're a fan of Robert Englund.
I think I've seen that.
It
I'm
is
pretty
a
sure I
great
have.
documentary. It explains how essentially him being on V has got him the role on this movie. Because he had been around forever and he'd been in so many movies with actually a lot of big stars. And V was like his first taste of big popularity and helped him land more jobs. And that eventually led to Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yep,
Yeah,
I just found it.
And now he's so much more associated with it that a lot of people don't even remember V that much compared to
Exactly.
This is also, with the classic slasher movie trope. You have sex. Well, as a teen, it's time for you to fucking die.
Big no.
And they're in her mom's bed.
Yep, premarital sex. We love premarital sex. Only good part about Jason X.
I love how you hear them at it, and they are at it, and it cuts
Jason
to
X.
It cuts to Johnny Depp on the couch because his girlfriend is sleeping in Tina's bed, so he has to take the couch, and he's like, "Man, I hate that I have morals."
Yeah,
That was funny. He's a good
That's
kid.
Jason X is my favorite Friday the 13th movie.
I got to tell you,
It's fun.
I'm a fan of the original, and I'm a fan of the third one that came out in 3D because I saw it in the theater in 3D. But there is something that just slayed me when I watched Jason X. The whole holographic, camp scene was just amazing. And you could tell he was getting frustrated.
Yeah.
And he's got the coolest looking mask, too.
There's some great moments in that movie, but the overall movie is stupid. The freezing face kill is pretty nice in that one.
Yeah.
I love the scene when Freddy sticks his head through the wall. That is a great practical effect. And so many people have tried to recreate that in CGI, even the remake, and it looks absolutely atrocious. It never has looked as good as it has looked in this movie.
It's just latex. You just stretch out latex and light it right.
And
Latex is one way you can
push them
actually use really fine linen to do it with, too.
Yeah.
Like silk. But it's more expensive, so just use latex. She looks so good in that shirt right now.
Yeah. It's all about her being, showing how vulnerable she is, because that's more terrifying. It's one of the reasons
And she's
women
wearing white, so you know there's going to be blood, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I didn't like this. The arms just look. I don't know why they did this.
Yeah, they look kind of goofy, but
they were smart to put it in shadow.
I actually liked it. I liked it. They're trying to show she can't get past him, is what it is.
Yeah.
There's no getting.
No, I
around
get
you.
the concept. The execution is the thing.
Well, they didn't have anything other than going.
Oh,
back
that
in
is
the
so
first
gross. The green blood squirting out of his fingers. When he comes
Yeah.
Well, remember at one point he pulls up his shirt and he slices his chest and maggots come out.
And there's a switching back and forth of green and real blood with him too, throughout the film.
Yes.
What? I cannot believe this.
Oh yeah, it happens.
Remake.
Oh man, I
Jackie
love
Earle
Jackie
Haley.
Earle.
I love Jackie Earle Haley, and I hate hearing that. Really?
Yeah, I need receipts on this one, guys.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, because I'm a
remake
big
sucks anyways.
fan of his since what was that movie? Breaking Away and Bad
Oh,
News
the
Bears.
bicycle movie?
Yeah, he's in both. He's in Bad News Bears and
Yeah.
that one. And when I was a kid, he was the shit.
I even forgave him for being in that piece of crap Dark Tower movie.
Yeah, it was really bad.
The less
I
said about that
love
movie,
this
the
whole
better.
scene. I love this scene with her just flying around the room. I love when they
Yeah.
show them dying. Well, it's like outside the dream.
And
I
that's
couldn't
the
remember.
interesting thing is that in this film, again, he established that you can actually pull Freddy and elements of these dreams into the real world.
Mm-hmm.
And so everything that was used later in the sequels was established pretty much in this film.
This does a really good job of setting up the rules for the world.
Yep. Now, John Saxon, a lot of people don't know this about this man. Yes, he was in Enter the Dragon with Bruce Lee, studied Jeet Kune Do under Bruce Lee, but he was one of the first celebrities to set up a live blog on his official page. And you could actually just talk to him and he'd respond to you right there on his website.
It's cool.
He's also in one of my favorite movies of all time. That'll Be on the Stars.
Oh, one of the best, worst movies ever made.
Yep.
But John Saxon was a really good actor. I love this guy. He worked with Gene Roddenberry with one of his, when he quit and walked away from Star Trek in the third season, because he did not show run the third season. He went off to do a new sci-fi idea, and he shot a pilot with John Saxon. It was really very good, but it didn't take off. So it just became a made-for-TV movie.
Yeah.
Also, the core of this movie is what's going right now, which is the relationship with her and her parents and all the shit that they've been keeping from her.
Yes, and as we learn, and this is again stuff that they really get into in the sequels, is that it's the parents' fault that this is happening.
Mm-hmm. I mean, her mom became an alcoholic because of everything that was going on in it. And there's actually a deleted scene. Well, that's skipping ahead into the movie, where it's sort of hinted at maybe Nancy had a sibling. So when she shows her the Freddy glove and everything down,
I don't remember that.
It's a deleted scene.
Oh, it's in a deleted scene.
Yeah.
That he was killed by Freddy.
Yes, possibly.
Ah, interesting. I never knew that.
I believe
Wow.
it's on that.
I've got to find that. Yeah, I got to find that.
I actually think, and this is a weird thing, the parody that they did on The Simpsons with Groundskeeper Willie actually is, I think, almost a more eerie Freddy origin story than the one that's in the films. Because it's a little thing of like running, the dead corpse showing up, I'm going to get after your children where you can't find them in their dreams, and then just dying.
That is correct, Slasher Fred. He was in Black Christmas, another favorite film of mine.
Yep.
And also, this shit right here, the cops after Johnny dies, irritate me. But I do like that line, and it made Anima chuckle when he says, "You're not going to need a stretcher, you're going to need a mop."
It was funny.
Yeah.
It's a great line. It's a great line. But when the cop is told to keep an eye on Saxon's daughter, and he is just the biggest, dumbest character after that.
Yeah.
She's screaming her lungs out, and he goes, go back to bed. Calm down, get back to bed.
She
No,
is
go
in
to
a
sleep.
legit panic. No cop would react like that. By the way,
it's
Polly, we
so
love you
stupid.
too.
It was so stupid.
Hello, Polly.
He's shooting
Polly.
Here.
Polly's here with
That's
gifts for us all.
God, gay panel.
Well, we did talk about the second nightmare, so yes, homosexuality is welcomed here.
I will say though, in the second one, that is one of the scariest, saddest scenes. Is like when Freddy tears out of his body and he kills his best friend in front of him, and he's like banging on the door saying, "Dad, Dad, Dad!" And the dad's trying to bust in the door, and he's getting killed right there. That's a pretty good scene in the second movie.
Yeah. I remember
Well,
that Simpsons.
Am I
Sorry,
cutting out?
is it? No.
Yeah, when it's like it's set up for what was in the original movie, and then the lightning goes off, and you just see he's written on all the walls.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, didn't they have was it the janitor in Scream?
Yeah.
Was a callback?
It's
to
Wes
Freddy?
Craven.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's wearing the
Yeah, it's Wes
Freddy
Craven,
sweater.
yeah. Oh, this
And
scene
I
is
love
good.
their
I like
use
this.
of am I dreaming or is this real moments.
Yeah.
By the way, there's no such thing as semi-translucent or clear body bags.
No.
No.
But
Yeah, that's true.
they
that's
had to
only
have that
off.
for the movie.
Yeah, but it was a bit over the top.
Yeah, most body bags are actually colored.
Yeah,
Military,
and
they're black, but in civilian world, they use blue and yellow because they show blood. And who is this girl? I've always been like, why is she? What?
I think it was
Is she
just
important?
She's the hall monitor.
Oh, okay. I was like, what?
Yeah.
They picked a couple of students who have to monitor the whole student class.
Yeah.
And
It's like
check
being
if
a
people
trustee
that
in a
are
prison.
Yeah. We had that in Ireland.
She had that half drug look through the whole movie too. Good actress.
She was sleep deprived as fuck. Like in the end, it's 10 days that she hasn't slept or something.
Yeah, and by the way, the pill that or the pills that she takes in there, in actual 80s, it was called no dose.
Yep.
And a lot of us use that during exams. Got to cram for an exam, man. I got to get some. It's just high levels of caffeine.
I kept a bottle in my locker.
I was roommates with my cousin who was in the military when I was at university, and he would have access to these high caffeine pills that they would use, but they had to stay awake for days. And I would take them, and it almost ruined my stomach.
Yeah.
It's bad
Wait, I
stuff.
just saw something I want to do. Yes, that scene is one of my favorite scenes in the film because Freddy becomes not just a killer. He's very clever. He's like, I'm going to make this look like he hanged himself.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, look at him being shrewd.
He's got a sense of humor.
Yep.
He shouldn't be
I
dead
was-
though, because he wasn't up that long. They get him down pretty
if you
quickly,
listen,
and-
there's a crack sound.
Yeah, he breaks his neck.
Was there?
His neck was
Yeah.
broken. He didn't
Oh, I
just,
didn't hear
he
that.
wasn't choked to death. They could have saved him. His neck was broken.
Yep.
I didn't pick that up.
And by the way, that lady, she's been in a lot of movies, including what was that bowling movie with Bill Murray?
Oh yeah, Kingpin. Well, she's
Kingpin. She's the
Robert
landlady.
Shea's, she's Robert Shea's sister.
She does that whole
Yeah.
thing. It's just like I remember going.
Yeah.
"Ugh."
She's Lynn Shay, Robert Shea's sister. She's in this.
I didn't
she's in
know that.
Critters,
That's cool.
all that. Yeah.
She's a great actress, man. I'll catch her once in a while. Man, there she is again.
It's such a good. This truly is such a good movie.
Indeed.
It wasn't taken lightly by Wes Craven. He was aiming to make a really in-depth movie. It wasn't like, the original Friday the 13th, where it's just let's take Psycho and we'll make it reverse it to where the son's dead and the mom's the killer.
Yeah, this was a game changer in horror movies because yes, most slasher movies were inspired by Psycho and Peeping Tom and Halloween, then eventually Halloween. So like when this came along, this was something new, something fresh that reinvigorated the slasher genre in a different way. It was very original.
And by the way, the reference he's making is to Friday the 13th. Because
Yes.
in that film,
Mrs.
the mother was the
Voorhees.
killer and Jason was supposedly
Yeah,
dead.
Victor Miller
But-
admitted he just reversed it. He
Mhm.
admitted it.
And but I like later that they flip it again, and it's not a slasher series of films. He's an actual monster, killing monster machine, and because he's gruesome and he can't die. He's like Michael Myers, can't die.
Yep. He's immortal.
Well, that's why the entire series ended. Is they went, oh, Halloween. What other like scary days are there? Oh, Friday the 13th. They bought the title before they even had the plot for the movie. The guys were putting ads in on paper to try to get people. It's like scariest movie ever, Friday the 13th, and it fucking worked.
Yeah.
By the way, I just got a message from a buddy of mine, Steve Lowenthal, works in the comic industry, and he was shocked that I had watched the entire season of Creepshow, the new season, because I watched it at 1.5 speed. I could get all the shows done quickly, and I hated the final episode, but also the first episode with the personal monster story. I felt like it was a weak ending. Oh, this is a great moment of horror for anybody.
That was one of the moments where I had to look away, and I'm looking away right now. I can't watch this.
It's very clever.
It is, but fuck off.
What was those subtext moments?
Mm-hmm.
What was that movie you were talking about about the knife fight in a Turkish bath?
Yes, in a Turkish bath in the movie.
Yeah, that would be the female equivalent.
Yes, it is. It is, Martin.
Yeah, that scene with their stuff just flopping around naked with knives out, and I'm like, every guy in the theater was like legs clenched, like watching that scene going, no. That movie.
That's the point of it. They know what they're doing.
That's Cronenberg, though. Cronenberg's a genius when it comes to that stuff. That's body horror.
Yeah.
Probably influenced Space because Simon Pegg and Edgar Wright are big horror fans, especially back then.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's obvious.
And I'm so sorry you weren't able to join us to watch Scanners 2 weeks ago. That was. I love that movie.
That was great.
So it's obvious this movie inspired Home Alone.
No, absolutely. Because when I told Anima, no, this movie was before Home Alone.
Yeah.
She goes, oh, and I went, yeah, I know. It clearly inspired it.
The sledgehammer.
There it is.
I saw
Stay
Home
awake.
Alone in the cinema.
It's actually No Dose. That's No Dose.
I saw Home Alone when it came out in the cinema here. I knew that it was after this one. But when she starts building the trucks, I'm like, yeah, she's doing a Home Alone.
This is why Nancy is a great character, because she starts as this innocent girl, and by the end of the movie, she's doing what she has to defend herself. She goes through the Ellen Ripley character arc, as I like to put it.
Yep.
Even more so if you consider that she's a kid.
Yeah, she's just 16.
And it's ironically true that Johnny Depp was 21 and she was 19 when they made this, or was she 20 when they made this film?
She was 19.
She was 19 because she thought it was, because she has that line in there where she goes, I look like I'm 19 or something like that.
I look like I'm 20. And she's supposed to be 15 or 16. So I went and looked up her age, and she's born in 64. So she would have been 19, almost 20.
Yeah, exact same age as me. And Johnny Depp is 1 year older.
That really funny.
Yep. Of course, if they ever update this movie, what it should end with is Freddy going, it's like, hey, Johnny boy, this is Amber. Ha 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 ha.
Looks like you just shit the bed.
It's just messed up, man.
That's just a really crap thing to do.
By the way, this episode is brought to you by No Dose. When your nightmares are killing you, this is the medicine you want to take.
Yeah, I was up 5 days straight because of those.
That's dangerous, dude.
Yeah.
Staying awake that long period.
Oh, I went to Gen Con. The first time I went to
3
Gen
days
Con,
is considered detrimental to your health.
Yeah.
That you could actually die from it.
Well, as
Oh,
you
my
learn
uni-
in this movie.
During my
Well, they do that in
university
movies. They'll go 10 days. It's like you've been sleeping somewhere because you'd be dead if you hadn't.
Well-
And
I was up for 10 days in my university days.
I'm just telling you, you look up the medical stuff. You slept somewhere and you just don't know it
yeah,
Nope.
yeah,
because the human body
I have-
begins to
I
break
have
down.
witness. I have witness.
You can have all the witnesses you want. Witnesses don't matter. What matters is
wasn't-
science.
yeah,
I
but they
went
call
out
the
and
Punching
micro,
you, Johnny boy.
You go
I
into
was
what's called. That's
blasting
it. It's
you.
called micro.
yeah, micronaps.
Dude, I had no time for sleep. That was it was operating all time.
I love it when people argue against science.
I don't care. I'm just telling
Science
you
doesn't
what I did.
matter.
Why are
I'm
you
just
mad?
telling you what I
Back
did.
to the
Nothing.
movie.
Science doesn't matter. All that matters is the consensus.
Yeah,
Neil
the
deGrasse Tyson.
I'm just telling you what I did.
in Venezuela.
Science
Well-
is different down there.
When I was
That's
up
right.
for 5,
The Earth rotates in in a different way down there.
Yeah, it's like water goes the opposite way when it's going down the drain. Science.
No,
works
it doesn't
different.
go the opposite way. It goes against it.
yeah,
How does it do that?
yeah, I ended up. We
Oh,
stayed.
this is great when she gets mad at Johnny Depp for falling asleep.
Oh yeah,
But this
Yeah, but-
is so cool because she's seeing him go into the jail cell.
When Johnny Depp appears in her dream, when she's calling for him, asking if he's there, that moment he appears in her dream, he's asleep too. He's not awake anymore.
Yeah, I know, right? She should have known that when she saw him.
Yeah, because Slasherford was confused, apparently. That was just to show that he's asleep without showing him
Yeah.
asleep.
You there? Yeah, I'm here.
Like, how the hell are you here if you're awake?
Yeah.
She's focused on something else there.
Yeah, micro naps.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like going into a fugue state.
That's probably the best part of the remake is they explore micro naps in the remake.
Well, because you can't stay awake that long.
Yeah, so that's like when she's walking and she's like, he's following her in the store and he's like slashing the sides every time, and she's like, because she's having micro naps and stuff. That's a great scene. Other than that, that movie blows.
That's so bad.
It is
And
horrible.
once again, I'm such a fan of that actor, and just so pissed that he agreed to be in that. And to hear that he didn't like the original, come on.
It is kind of crazy that they could have had the plot point that she has to score meth, because in World War One, that's how they stayed up. They took methamphetamines.
yeah.
Oh,
Well,
poor
meth-
Johnny
meth-
passed out.
Glenn, you asshole.
And again, once again, this is this great moment because this is happening in her dream, but when she wakes up, you see that one feather floating down.
Mm-hmm.
I do admit, Johnny probably has one of the easiest acting jobs in the world with this movie. Okay, Johnny, I need you to pretend to be asleep.
Do you ever hear the story of how he was cast in this movie?
No,
Okay, there was Wes Craven actually had somebody else that he was going to have for the role of Glenn, and he was showing pictures to his daughters, and he asked him which one should he use, and they pointed to Johnny Depp, and they said why. He asked him why, and they said because he's hot. So that's why he cast
Yeah.
Johnny Depp in this movie. Tom will tell you that story. He knows it better than I
because
do.
at that time he wasn't even sure he wanted to be an actor. His band was
Yeah.
his thing. He was playing his music.
Is that why he did Crybaby?
I assume so.
Yeah.
Because Crybaby there was musical aspects to it, right? I've never seen the movie. I'm never interested in it. I've
Slasher
only
Fred,
seen 2 John Waters films.
I've seen Shocker, and it's weird to see the guy from the X-Files as a serial killer.
Shocker is a great movie. Speaking of which,
Yeah.
Heather Langenkamp is actually in that movie.
Yep, that is.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guy Skinner from X-Files.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
boss.
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
villain.
I do
And
admit
it was really weird seeing him.
Or
it's
Sinker.
yeah, for me it's an uneven movie, though I like the climax of it when they're literally running through different TV channels.
Yeah.
I do love the makeup job they do with her, where like her eyes get like bigger and bigger and the bags get blacker and blacker as the movie goes along.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, man, he
his
dead.
very next movie was a sex comedy called Private Resort.
Oh, I remember
Yep.
that one.
Lots of eye candy in that movie.
Yeah.
Hey Johnny, you need to do something else with your career. Why not come back for another nightmare movie?
Andrew Dice Clay was in that movie.
Wait a minute. What was he in that?
Andrew Clay.
He
No,
played
it's Kurt.
himself.
He played Kurt. He was listed as Andrew Clay before he added the dice. So Hector Alonso is in this too.
Oh, Hector Alonso's in it too?
Yeah.
Huh.
Alonso or Elizondo?
Elizondo.
Elizondo, yeah.
Where is he in
familiar.
this?
I'm trying to.
By the way, I loved the late 80s, early 90s sex romp comedies.
Oh yeah.
One of the biggest stars of those was Dean Cameron, who was in Dracula. And he was in Ski School, Summer School, Miracle Beach, Ski School 2, Hole in One.
He's awesome.
He is so funny. Oh, and he's also in Men at Work with the Sheen brothers.
Yeah. What's funny is like when on my show that we were doing, we had started talking about him, me and Tom, and like he just started showing up everywhere in our feeds and everything. It's just like out of the blue, like all his movies. Stuff. It was really weird. And I sent him a friend request on Facebook, and he just
Dean Cameron showed up.
No, just like his pictures and movies.
Oh,
and so I sent him a friend request on Facebook, and he just now accepted it. So I'm now friends with Dean Cameron.
Oh, we gotta. Oh, if you do an interview with him, I want to be on there, dude.
I gotta try.
I fucking love that dude, man. Rockula is the film that I've been wanting to do with you for a while.
Rockula.
It's still up on our schedule. That I want to have you on with me so we can talk about that film. Because I love the movie Rockula. I mean,
it's a great movie.
It's got one of my favorite things in it is the fact that it's got Thomas Dolby in it, and he's kind of a Renfield character.
Yeah.
I love Thomas Dolby, real Renaissance man.
Well, it's also got Tony Basil.
But Martin doesn't like him because of science.
And Bo Diddley's in there too.
Yeah, he has more songs
than
with science.
Speaking of science, we have a sleep study going on.
Oh shit! The dude doing the sleep study. You recognize who that is?
Yes, I know who that is.
Mm-hmm. All right, then I'm going to let you say who it is.
It's Roger Rabbit.
That's right.
Yes.
He's also in another horror film,
Demon Knight.
Demon Knight. That's right.
Yes.
Which is another favorite of mine, by the way.
I love Demon Knight. It is so crazy. I love it. And Bordello of Blood.
Bordello of Blood is hilarious.
It is.
Dennis Miller. But in Demon Knight, it was one of the few times I actually liked what's his name being the demon.
Oh yeah, Billy Zane.
Billy Zane, I don't think is a very good actor. He annoys me.
No, he got
he's
by on
fun
his
in
good
that.
looks.
What's that?
But he got by on his good looks, but he was in Titanic, so I think he's one of the
worst parts of that movie.
Yeah.
His career took a dump after Titanic. He had to shave his head because people recognized him as the villain from Titanic and hated him.
One of my favorite films. that he was in is Sniper, but I hated him in the movie. I'm so annoyed, and I kept hoping that Tom would kill him, that he wouldn't survive to the end.
I
We
love
don't
what
always get along, Terry.
Raid by Nature said.
Oh, what did he say?
Love Demon Knight. They can do a sequel and make Jada Pinkett the bald-headed demon.
Oh,
Did you see she's in the news again that she had supposedly said that Chris Rock approached her to apologize
Right.
at the award ceremony, and she goes, "I ain't get I ain't getting into this shit right now," or something like that. And I'm like, "Fucking making up stories. Fuck you."
She's
Yeah,
she's got a book coming out, so that's what she's doing, is trying to get in the news cycle so she can get eyes on her book.
Sell the book. Yeah.
Yeah, Tupac was her
She's a
only love.
horrible, horrible human being.
Mhm.
Yeah. Tupac was her one great love, except for her all of her son's friends.
Yeah.
Constantly. I'm like, you're fucked up, lady.
Yep.
She was talking about how she was crying. She didn't want to get married, and she was crying at the wedding. And I'm like, and Will Smith's all happy about it. I'm like, come on, dude. If that was really happening, somebody would stop that wedding.
I can't wait till she has the tell part of the book where she says where she keeps Will's testicles.
Yeah, because we all want to know where they're at.
They're in a mason jar underneath the sink.
Which is why he bitch slapped Chris Rock.
Slasher Fred, I love Deadly Friend. That is a great Wes Craven movie. I love it, and Christy Swanson is awesome in that. So that's a good
He
movie.
brought up another film earlier that I forgot I wanted to talk about, is Deadly Blessing with Ernest Borgnine that Wes Craven made.
Oh yeah,
Very good film. Came out in '81.
Yeah, that's one I actually have not seen. And somebody, was that you, Steven, that brought that on my show? Was that you?
Which
Deleted
one?
scenes. Deadly Blessing. Was that you that brought it on my show that one night?
No.
Somebody
I don't
brought
have
it
that
on.
one, unfortunately.
Oh yeah, somebody brought it on my show. No, it was Runner. He brought it on, and I was like, I had never seen that Wes Craven movie before, and so I.
Oh, it's a must see.
Yeah,
if
I
you
gotta see
like
that
Wes Craven, it's a must see. I
do
like
think-
his first film, House at the End of the Street.
I
Last
do
House
feel
on the
kind of
Left.
bad.
Yeah, Last House on the Left. It's a remake of Virgin Spring by the great Swedish director. But it's not a horror. Ingmar Bergman, yeah. It's not a horror story though. What he did is he took that story and put in the horror elements and turned it into a modern horror film. But it's the same premise, same plot.
Guys, we just missed something important. She brought back
Really?
his hat. In the
Oh, yeah,
episode,
she
in the
brought back
Oh
sleep-
yeah, she pulled the hat back
she-
through.
and a strand of her hair turned gray.
Yeah, that's when she was
Which is
doing the
very
sleep.
cool that they did that.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the sleep study.
But she
And-
knows
and-
now how she can hurt him.
She's
she
into
can-
survival.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's very important for her to find that out.
And I loved it because, like you were talking about, three takes off of this, like with the Dream Warriors, because she learns what she can do in her dreams, and then she teaches them, as the kids in Dream Warriors, how to be the Dream Warriors.
Yeah.
Which is why it's great that she's back
Yes.
in that movie, playing one of the people working at the clinic, helping them.
Mm-hmm.
I really did like that. But that's also, isn't it where they started the whole Son of a Thousand Maniacs?
Yes, that's where you find out his mom was a nun who got locked inside of the psycho madhouse part of the place where the prisoners were held, and she was, by 1,000 maniacs.
Yep. Son of a Thousand Maniacs. And of course, also her dad makes an appearance in the junkyard scene.
Mm-hmm.
But another guy that's in that movie, he just sort of disappeared. I need to find his name because he's a favorite of mine.
The one that played the head of the doctors.
Yes, it's Craig Wasson. Because the first thing I ever noticed him in He was actually in The Boys of Company C, but the movie that really put him on my map was Ghost Story.
Mhm.
Because he played twin brothers, and one of them gets murdered by the ghost at the beginning. And the other brother, the ghost, is going to try to kill him too, but ends up not. And you got to watch the movie to find out why. But it's also, oh my God, man. What's her name? The board queen. She's so hot in that movie.
Alice Creed.
Alice Creed.
But he's made some great movies and he just disappeared.
Yeah,
Stopped working as an actor.
Wes
still
Craven
alive.
with this movie, unfortunately, because his big thing is he wanted to do romance movies, but because this was so big and it cemented him as like a horror director, and he could never quite escape that in his career. Even though,
and that sucks because we're going to be doing a special on Blake Edwards and talking about what a versatile director he was. He could do thrillers with horror elements in it, and he could do comedies. He could do drama. This guy was a very versatile director, and I bet you Wes Craven was too.
Yeah.
In fact, as I recall, he tried to do a serious movie, didn't he?
He did. I can't remember what it.
Hold on,
about
it's
two
a music
women.
movie. It was about music, wasn't it?
Something
Hold on.
about teachers, maybe. I can't remember.
I'm looking through his thing right now because I remember he tried to, and it just didn't work.
Yeah, it didn't do
nothing came
much.
of it. He was a writer on Paris Je t'aime. It seemed like I could have sworn he directed it.
Yeah, it's called Music of the Heart.
That's it. Music of the Heart.
Yeah,
There it
and
is.
Meryl Streep's in it.
Meryl Streep. Yep.
Yeah.
And it was his one attempt to get away from horror, and it tanked.
Yep.
Yeah.
You can say his attempt to get away from horror got horrible.
One he did do that you like, Gary, Vampire in Brooklyn.
Martine,
Yeah.
that was terrible.
That was terrible.
Oh God, we're just dealing with punishment now, aren't we?
Oh my God.
Oh.
Where is Tom when I need him?
He should be here any minute because we're at the top of the hour.
Yeah, we are at the top of the hour, and I'm going to play our little commercial break here to promote our clothing line. I don't know what to call it.
Merchandise
But
store you're looking for.
You can get into the merch store, and you can be like Christian DeLorme and have your own Pop Culture Minefield shirts or hoodies or whatever have you. And
Merchandising.
merch.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to the middle of the film.
Haven't seen that in a while.
It's still sitting in there.
I didn't know we still had it.
Yeah.
Wait, now we can use it again.
This scene, man. This is the other like big subtext clue of the messed up shit going on. He says, "I'm your boyfriend now, Nancy."
And then does the phone.
Yeah.
Yep. And
What
she
is
said
really
she
messed up
hated
is that
this.
she is getting so close to things, and her helicopter mom just doesn't open up until the third act when she finally tells her what's going on. And her kid is on it all the time, and they just don't take her serious.
Yeah, the mother is almost the real villain of the movie because it's her fault this happened, and her not telling them causes.
It's all the parents' fault because they're
Yes.
all involved.
Yeah.
But yeah,
and
they are the bad guys of the film, unwittingly.
They created a monster.
They created the monster and they unleashed him on them, inspiring him.
Hey,
to do what he did.
Kings.
There's no hate.
Gary loves Vampire in Brooklyn. He
I just make fun of it because it's silly.
Doesn't
Because
mean
I'm a
it's not
big Eddie
enjoyable.
Murphy fan, but he's made a couple of films that tanked for a reason. They tanked for a reason.
Yep.
You mean
Oh,
Pluto
yeah.
Nash wasn't any good?
I kind of like Pluto Nash.
I didn't like it. What was that other movie he did that I actually enjoyed, but was really done with Steve Martin?
Oh, Bowfinger.
Bowfinger? I love Bowfinger.
Yeah, I actually enjoyed that. It was silly, but I enjoyed it.
It was the last like real Steve Martin movie too.
And that's the one I made fun of. Is guys wearing midriff cutoffs in the 80s
Yeah.
was so gay.
Yeah, and then he showed me a picture of the gym shorts that they had back then. And
Oh, the gym
I wish I
shorts they
could
made us
unsee
wear in
this.
school were awful.
Well,
They were
I
worse
will
than
unsee that.
what's it called?
Speedos.
Daisy Dukes.
Oh, yeah.
But they were gym shorts, and they were that short. It was terrible.
Well, what's her name looks better in that shirt and Scream than he does. So.
So true. Hey, Kyle's here. What's up, Kyle?
Hi, Socks.
Oh, pay attention, Johnny boy. This is gonna be the second worst thing to happen to you on a bed.
As long as it's not crap, I don't care.
No, he's eviscerated.
Somebody left me some poodly doo.
I diddly ho, neighbor.
Diddly do.
Diddly doo. What is that? What does it say? In the scene where Glenn is killed, I love the radio DJ announcing.
Yeah.
This is KRGR going off the air.
Yeah.
Also, Freddy Krueger is named about a kid that bullied him, and he's used it
Yep.
twice for villain in his movies.
Look at this. Benny making a bridge.
Oh,
Yep.
Oh, we ruined her. We knew that for a while now.
by the way, what do you mean it's the second time he used Freddy Krueger?
He uses it in another movie too.
What movie?
At least a name close to that.
Because the last house on the left, the villain is named Krug.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it was like what Michelangelo putting that one guy he hated as the devil.
Yeah.
It's
And
a
by the way,
great
I
way of
liked
coming
A New
back.
Nightmare. I really liked the idea behind it that they're the actual people that worked on the movie doing a sequel, and the power of Freddy has been somehow brought to life. And I'm like, okay, I'm in.
Yeah. It was the movies contain this ancient demon because we tell stories, and that's how we tell stories, and it contains these demons and whatever. And once the movies ended, the demon was free, and he had gotten so used to being Freddy, so he took on Freddy, and he's coming into the real world. I love that ideal.
Yep. And then he made Scream and effectively ruined slasher and horror movies for about 15 years.
Because everything was a copy of Scream.
Yep.
Oh,
but-
Penny's asking for her video, and she wants the one from Box.
Oh,
Do we still have those?
yes.
Okay.
Open your back door, baby. Loosen your hinges, I'll show you my key.
There you go. And just for shits and giggles,
Strong. North.
is somebody doing something?
Nope.
No.
No.
As you can see, I'm
gonna go check the back door. Back door.
There we go. Because it wouldn't play. It would like hop up and then disappear. If you guys
That's how
ever
it
watch the
happened to me.
trailer, there is a line that is not in the movie where Donald says Rod Lane was locked in a room with a girl who went in alive and came out in a rubber bag. Huh. That's a good line.
Yeah.
About the backdoor clips, the Scanlan one must not be deleted. Simply for the reason that Jeebus hates it, so we can piss him off a little bit when he misbehaves.
Yeah,
We
well, I
need
haven't
that.
seen him in a while. He's not messaged me. Does anybody know what's going on with him?
He kind of dropped out. I don't know what's going on there.
I
Hope
see
he's
him
okay.
occasionally on other channels, but he's
not
not
there
like
very often.
yeah, he's not on YouTube a lot right now. So
Yeah, he's taking a break, it seems.
I know he had to move at one point, so I'm wondering if he's having some habitat issues.
Or maybe it's just a new job and the hours don't work with us.
That's true too.
Yeah. Now here we go, guys.
Yeah, he got blended.
He's
Leave
already
him there.
being sucked into the bed now. What's
Such
going
a great
on?
effect. And so much blood.
Better be sucked in the bed than be shit on the bed.
Well, technically, that is not all blood. That is all of him blended.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not just this scene, though. I mean, the blood trails that Tina makes when she appears in Nancy's dream in the school, they used over 500 gallons of fake blood for this movie.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, they really went.
Yeah.
Yeah, that and Army of Darkness are two of the best bloods.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
You would think that after the mom seeing this and reporting to the cops, this is what happened, and they find all the evidence, what's left of Johnny Depp's character, Glenn, that they would figure out that maybe something not normal is happening.
Yeah, and she's in the next house screaming in a panic, and nobody goes to help her. No one. That
it's like you get a girl across the street from where a boy was just murdered, screaming, and the cops were like, "Go back to sleep."
Yeah, because you don't go check out if something is happening in that house too, right?
And I consider that the weakest part of the writing.
Yeah, it is.
Dude, this line was.
Oh yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
Well, parents don't want to see that their kids are in trouble. They want to pretend everything is fine until they can't anymore.
That's one of the most damaging things that a parent can do.
I know.
Yeah, well, that's arguably what this movie is entirely about. Like, if there's important thematic element, it's that your kids are going to be having issues, and you can't just pretend everything's fine. You have to help them with what they're dealing with.
And they are just trying to help her with the symptom. They think just have her go to sleep, and then everything is fine. They don't want to see past that. What makes her not sleep? To that.
And that's the problem. These parents are boomers. They were raised during after World War II, and so they didn't have the connection that the next generation would have with their kids. But then again, that connection led to the fucked up millennials we have today.
Yeah. It was a little overcorrection.
Yeah, overcorrection is a good way of saying it. That's why when you ask Zoe how I raised her, it was with a sense of humor, and I would fuck with her constantly. To where now, that's why she's so funny. She's got a great sense of humor about life. Don't take it too seriously. Shit's gonna be fucked up. It's all right. You'll get through it.
So you're basically saying you tortured your daughter.
Yeah, you can say that if you want to.
He tried very hard, but he didn't manage to screw her up because she turned out great despite being Gary's kid.
I think that it is the way I raised her that helped her circumnavigate life the way she has so far. And she'll call me when she's having a tough time, and we'll just talk. And she's very open with me, and I like that. We have a good relationship.
Right. The fact that it's coming to you.
Though this whole ending fight, you could almost put the Benny Hill music just because the way he reacts with the traps.
Especially if you watch it at 1.5 speed.
Yeah. The thing that cracks me up is the scene when the dad kicks in the door. Okay, you'll see it. starts at the stairwell with her at the stairwell and him coming through the door, them going to the cellar door, and then coming through the dining room, living room, and then back around because she's following the footsteps right back to where she started the scene. And I love that. I don't know why I love that, but I love that they did that because the footsteps weren't there when she was there, and now they are. The mother is clearly insane by putting these bars on the windows.
Yeah. She's just
How do you get out in case of fire?
Yep.
She does the opposite of what would be right in everything.
You're trapping things in, not out. Yeah, and I got to be honest. She, if anybody should die in this film, she earned it. Mama.
Yeah.
Because at every turn when she had the opportunity to do the right thing, she screwed it up.
She does the wrong thing. Yeah.
Well, she's a drunk, so
being a drunk is part of that.
Yeah.
Johnny Depp helps her more in this movie than her parents.
And he's not a big help.
No, he's just casually thinking about, oh yeah, I heard about this thing.
Are you gonna let me get in there? No, not tonight. Okay.
Yeah, he definitely didn't try hard enough.
Hey man, it's like, hey, I want to get with you, but if you're not cool with that right now, I'll hang back.
Oh, I just caught this by War Monkey. He says one of the first things I did when I got my Oculus was watch Freddy versus Jason in 3D. Nice. That's cool. I love the painting in the background, the little thing of the dogs playing pool.
Well, there's so much great background stuff in this movie, or the use of like light and shadow.
Oh, the police poster in her bedroom. I had the same poster.
Yeah. And was the sketch of that Corey? What's his name for Aha? That's because if you look, there's a poster and then there's a sketch picture that's right next to the poster.
I thought that was Johnny Depp.
Was that Johnny Depp?
I think that's Johnny Depp.
Okay.
Yeah, no. Her and the one girl also have the crucifix on the wall.
I was going to show you something because Enema, and I talked about this the other night.
About what?
That poster was just before Sting had his big nose surgery.
Oh yeah, because he went back to that and paused the movie, and I didn't immediately recognize Sting because I'd never seen him before his nose job. I was like, that looks familiar. Who is that? And then
who is that? And I'm like, that's Sting before he got his nose fixed.
And I've never seen his real nose.
Yeah.
I didn't know he had a nose job, to be honest.
Oh, the thing with the bars, it's also a mirror of what actually happened with Freddy, because what they do, they locked off the building and then they set it on fire.
Oh, with the building he was hiding in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Shrek.
That's interesting.
PMC's
Yeah.
back.
Yep.
Hi,
Welcome
Shrek.
back.
Because she's going to her basement. What's there? It's it's one of those things that you don't pay unless you're paying attention. You're not going to notice, but it's one of those things that reads subconsciously.
Well, I think that's why he reacted the way he did to the fire too.
Yeah, like Frankenstein monster.
Yeah. Fire.
Yeah.
I didn't expect you to do the voice.
Because at this point, they're in the same basement, and then she jumps out, and she jumps out of her house. It's one of those things you're not really consciously aware of because you're so.
Well, it's what you do in dreams. That's what you do in dreams.
Yeah.
You can change scenery like that because she's in her basement, and then she goes down, and it's the school's basement boiler room.
Yeah.
There doesn't need to be logic behind it if it's dreams.
Yeah, exactly. And by the way, here you go. This is the poster of Sting that's on the wall right here. And he still had his Malcolm McDowell nose. It was wide. And then right around a year after this photo was taken, he had his nose pinched. And that's what it looked like after that. And it was something fans noticed. It was like, what the fuck's up with Sting's nose? Why does it look pointy now when it used to be bulbous? Vanity, thy name is Gordon Sumner. For non-Sting fans, that's Sting's name.
Yeah.
Real name.
Oh, because
Gordon
we just saw
Matthew Sumner.
the bandage on her arm. That was another important clue for her when she burns herself on the on that pipe to wake up when she's.
Well, that's the first time she learns that she can.
Yeah.
That something comes out of the dream.
Yeah.
And then she doesn't deliberately take the hat. She just happens to grab the hat the moment to wake her up in a sleep study, and that just cements that I can do this. I can make shit happen, make it real.
Yes, absolutely. By the way, and this is a challenge. Anybody who makes fun of Evil Dead, the first movie, I said, you'd say that. I want you to go alone, turn all your lights off, and watch that movie by yourself. It will mess with you.
I can do it.
Have you done that, Greg?
Oh, the first time I seen the first Evil Dead movie scared the crap out of me.
Yeah.
I watched it at night. I was young. That's why I got the poster right there, man.
You needed the money.
Yeah, I've told people, man, that is not a movie to watch by yourself in the dark.
I wasn't by myself when I watched it in the dark, so that's probably why I didn't do anything.
It'll just mess with you.
The fact
Hey,
that Gabby
Tom.
even suggested to me shows how much she
here.
knows me.
Yeah. There's Tom.
Hey, Tom.
Hey, Tom.
Tom's here.
Where that some bitch owes me money.
So we're in the third act.
Was that Utah?
No, that wasn't me.
Oh, that was Tom.
Oh, nice.
So
by the way,
we're in the third act now where now Freddy's on fire.
Can I say something? That
Yeah.
scene was shot in one go, and he was just supposed to run up the stairs and then lie down and be extinguished. And the stuntman improvised the falling down the stairs and running back up, and they kept it in, and he won Stunt of the Year for that.
Yeah,
I think that's awesome.
Was the longest burning stunt for years too, if I remember right.
And it was just one long shot. That
Yeah.
is so amazing that they could do it back then.
But hi, everybody. How's everybody doing?
Oh,
Talking
pretty
some
good,
Nightmare
man.
on
We've
Elm
been
Street.
enjoying talking about this movie.
I mean, I'm kind of starstruck right now. Tom Connors from Midnight's Edge is on here.
I know.
I'm your streamer now, Nancy.
Get rid of that fat fuck Gary and look out, here comes Freddy.
Oh wait, what was that
He's
question?
got hair.
Wait, here
What
it
was
is.
Do you think that the plot of the original was inspired by the classic Twilight Zone episode "Perchance to Dream"?
The inspiration, as far as I know, did you guys talk about this already?
Yes, we did, but go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, just the articles that Craven had read about the Cambodian kid.
The Cambodian Dreams. That's right.
Yeah.
'Cause I told Anima about that last night.
Yeah.
That he had read this article, and I think it was done in Texas, wasn't it?
I think he was still teaching at the time. I can't remember when it was exactly, but yeah, it was these kids that they were refugees from the war, and I guess this was a little bit of a phenomenon among this group. But one specific article, he had a couple, I guess he had, but this one that really kind of stuck with him, because this kid had this series of dreams and he was refusing to sleep. And the night that he died, they said that the parents and him had been watching TV and he fell asleep downstairs. So the parents quietly carried him upstairs and put him to bed. And then just a few minutes later, they heard him wake up screaming and he just fell dead. And then, later on, they looking through his room, he had like a coffee pot underneath his bed and all this shit. So that inspired him, clearly with the Nancy thing and all that stuff. And I think the other thing that was like, cause see, the thing is Wes came back for the third film to write it with, I can't remember the guy's name, but like that bit about the kid cutting off his own eyelids or whatever. I think that was another thing that he got from one of those things too. Yeah.
That's disturbing.
Yeah. So he couldn't fall asleep. That was the whole reason. Yeah. Like,
Yep.
And I think it's one of the most complete ideas that Wes Craven ever had for storytelling. Is
probably his most pure, his most. I mean, it's clearly his signature film at the end of the day, even though he had done Hills Have Eyes and Last House on the Left and Swamp Thing to this point. This was a movie that, I mean, he'll be remembered for forever, more or less.
Right. And it still is one of my absolute favorite films of all time, despite my frustration with some of the dumb dialogue here in the third act by the cop.
Well, you got to take into consideration this is supposed to be a dream too. At this
point. When he's on the street and she's screaming. Oh, wait, you're saying this is a dream when she's screaming?
Yeah, all this whole thing's a dream. Yep.
Everything, even the
she never woke up.
Nightmare.
Yeah. If you look in the last scene, she kind of glances at her arm and it doesn't have the burn on it.
Yeah, the burn is gone. So that's what that represents.
Yes, sir.
There's some people that will argue that the entire film is a nightmare. There's some people that argue from the third act on, she isn't completely in a dream from the whole thing. She never wakes up.
And what are your thoughts on the bringing her back for the third film?
Oh, I love it. The third film is the fan favorite. It's the true sequel.
It's my favorite too.
Yeah.
I mean, if there's an argument to be made for a film that's probably better than the first film, it might be Dream Warriors, but you need the first film to get to Dream Warriors. So it's kind of like,
well, they take so many of the elements from this movie and use them in the plot, building the plot for the story.
Well, and I think that's where it helped, where Craven, I know that they didn't use a lot of what his script was because it was just disturbing. Because I can't remember the guy. I wish I could remember the guy's name who wrote it with him, but they went balls to the wall with some of the shit. And I have the original script somewhere, and it is nasty in some scenes. But what they did take away from it was a few of the elements and ideas, and this whole idea that Freddy is like, because 9 times out of 10, when you add a backstory to a character, it demystifies him. Freddy, no, it made him even nastier. The fact that he is the bastard child of 100 maniacs, right?
Yeah. And that's where it was introduced, was in the third.
And his
film.
mother is a nun who was violated, right? So that's his. I mean, like, how much more gruesome can you make this guy? He's already a pitiful creature that he's this, diddler and killer, right? And then you add that extra level to him, it just makes him even more gruesome.
So it was very overt that he did other things with the children besides kill them.
Originally, he was a child molester, and they had to make him a murderer because there was a series of child abuse going on in California, and they didn't.
It was kind of one of those things. Well, they kind of alluded to it a bit more than anything. I think there was only one time where they actually refer to him as some filthy child molester in one of the movies.
The last one.
One of them, yeah, I can't remember.
In the remake, that is.
No, I think it was in the. No, I mean in the original series. I'm not talking about the stupid remake.
Yeah, by the way, somebody said during the show, I don't remember which one of you said it, that Jackie Earle Haley hated the original film.
Slasher Fred put it on.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, I hope that's not true. Because I love him as an actor. He's one of my favorite actors, though I hate that movie.
Well, and supposedly he was part of the connection to the original film because I think he's tried out for the original movie too. Because Johnny Depp, I think, if I remember the story right, was there that day because he was catching a ride with Jackie to his band practice. And he just happened to be sitting there waiting for Jackie, who I think was trying out for Glenn, or probably the other one, I would imagine more so.
The tough boyfriend, yeah.
Yeah. And they saw him sitting there and they're like, hey, are you an actor? And he's like, not really.
Really?
They're like, yeah, but you look about the right age. You want to try out for this? He's like, all right.
There's no harm in it.
And they got down to about 3 or 4 actors for Glenn, and they put the headshots in front of Wes Craven's daughter and a couple of the other producers' daughters, and they all went right to Johnny Depp. They're like, why him? He's dreamy. They all say. So that's how he got
'cause
that.
I talked
role.
about that earlier. That Johnny was serious about his music, man.
Yeah, he wasn't even there as an audition. He was there with, as far as I know, the story goes, was Jackie. He was the guy he was with, because that was kind of the weird thing, is that he got to be in the original film, and then Jackie turned around and played Freddy in the remake, even though he initially had tried out. Because for those who don't know, Jackie Earle Haley was a bit of an actor already at that point. He had been in the Bad News Bears. There was what the hell was the other movie he was in? He was in a couple of movies before that and after. But that was the thing he had then going for him, is that he looked young for his age for a long time. But he was really good at playing those tough characters, like Gary was saying. And I could have seen him playing the batter of the two boyfriends in this movie. Yeah,
Easily, even though he's short as fuck.
Yeah.
You know,
And-
he's really a tiny guy, and that's why, like, when he was in Breaking Away, that was the fun thing about him, is that he kept being picked on by his boss. You know,
that was the
he
movie I was
bullying.
thinking of, but I think that came out after Nightmare, right? Because that was a couple years after that, right?
I was in high school.
I'm trying to remember, when did
So-
Breaking
No,
Away
it
come
came
out?
out before. It came out before, because I was in high school.
Did it really? I swear. Why do I feel like that came out in the late 80s?
I think it was 79. Hold on. Breaking Away. I think
Unless I'm
came
thinking
out
1979.
79.
Oh, wow.
I'm telling you, dude, I'm good at years.
You're
I'm
good.
good at remembering years when movies came out, because I remember where I was and when I saw it, and that's always a
Okay,
good
I'm
gauge.
thinking of a different movie. That's why. I was thinking of the one about the murderer. About the murders, the kid murders, where everybody in the town knows about it. It's based on a true story.
And
I think
Jack
that-
Earle Haley, isn't it?
Yeah, and it has a similar name to that. What is it though?
Oh, let me go look. I'm on his
Shit.
IMDb page right now.
Well,
Yeah, he's
while
in
you're
it.
While you're on that, Greg has to go.
Yeah.
I-
All right.
Oh, Greg, I just got
dude.
here.
I know you just
personally-
got here, but I have to go. I have to go take care
I
of
gotta
something.
do
real
daddy
quick.
Well, I'm
duty.
so glad you joined us, man. I
Yeah,
miss
man,
you, dude. I really do.
Yeah, I do. It's fun streaming with you again, man. And
It's
Tom,
good to
I'm
see you
sorry I
again.
can't hang out with you again as usual.
Yeah.
I'll
never
hit
get
you
to
up
see you.
on our Saturday shows. I'll send you an invite every Saturday. See if you can join us.
Oh,
I'll try.
please.
Nice to meet
Next
you,
week,
Greg.
Tom and I are doing. What are we doing next week?
I think it's Lost Boys next week.
That's it. Lost Boys.
Yeah.
We're doing Lost Boys.
Awesome.
Come on,
Awesome.
Greg. You got to join us for that one.
I'll try, but thank you for having me. This is one of my favorite movies.
Come on, bitch.
The bitch. The Nightmare on Elm Street is my favorite of the horror the big three: Michael, Freddy, Jason. Freddy's the man. So that being
Yeah, yeah.
said, peace.
See you later, buddy.
Bye.
Bye.
I cannot find it here.
All right,
Maybe
so
he's not in it.
I'm back in the 70s. Valley of the Dinosaurs, Planet of the Apes.
I know,
These are
I'm
the
looking
TV
too.
series. Planet of the Apes, no shit. Now I
Maybe
remember
he
him in
wasn't in
Shazam.
that.
He was good in Shazam. Bad News Bears, Damnation Alley,
Oh, that's right. He was in Damnation Alley.
Breaking Away in '79. I'm not seeing. He was in the TV series too. Breaking Away, terrible show. I'm not
Unless I'm
finding-
thinking
hold
of
on, let me
somebody
go.
else. Maybe it's a different actor. I thought it was him.
Burnett, The Outside Man, Partridge, Marcus Welby, Valley of the Dinosaurs. That's it, man.
Yeah, I'm
he's
not
in a
seeing
movie
him
called
in here.
Day of the Locust. What the fuck is that about?
And Little Children, I
that's-
think that's
oh,
in the where he
Hollywood.
played the. Yeah, no, it's maybe he wasn't in it. I was told. What the hell was that movie though?
I do the same thing, Tom. Where
I am
you
having
think
a
about
bad,
one actor
I need
and
to
it's
eat
actually
something
another
too.
actor.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm the same way. I haven't eaten yet. I'm not eating a goddamn thing. He's in
Damn
Dollman too, by the
diabetes.
way. He plays Braxton in that.
Oh yeah, he's in a ton of shit. But it's just a matter of I thought he was. I can't remember what the movie was, but yeah.
Oh God! And one of my other favorites, Nemesis. He's in that. He plays Einstein. I love that movie. So, but let's wrap this movie up. I paused it here so we could go into that diatribe. Let's see. She's screaming. The cop goes, "Go back to bed!" Finally, the dad comes running out. So this is all in.
He's like, maybe I should tell the
dreaming.
Sarge.
She's dreaming. This is all a dream. I never picked that up. I used to have real nightmarish dreams. And some of the stuff in this film reminds me of some of the dreams I had as a kid.
Well, think about how casual the dad is when
Yeah, the
mother
mom is
dies.
on fire.
the mom's on the whole. He's
No,
just
disappears.
yeah,
Because he jumps on top of it to put the fire out and then pulls it away, and she just sort of burned and disappears into the bed right here.
yep.
And he's like, okay,
Yeah.
well, I'm going to go write my report now.
He's like, yeah, that happened. Okay, so what do we do now?
I don't think we have a form for this.
Yeah, right.
Hey, Bob, what's the code for dead woman on a bed, sinking into it, disappearing? What?
Actually,
you don't have one?
you all witnessed that I didn't kill her.
What's
Bad
funny
life.
about how many weird deaths they've had here, you just think after a while they'd have to.
Yeah, there's nothing left of Johnny Depp but blood. Just
Yeah.
gallons of blood.
What's the coroner think? He's still puking since he saw it.
It's called a code mop.
So then the question is, did Johnny Depp and the mother die then if it was all a dream?
Technically, yeah, like they do say that, yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, I love that. Because that's an effect that Craven pulled off in this so well. And it seems like he did it in a previous film. It might have been Deadly Blessings. With the stretching wall thing. I think it's something he pulled off in that film.
That's the line with it. This whole thing is just dream. The entire ordeal, everything that's been going on has just been a nightmare to torture her.
You're nothing. You're shit.
And then she doesn't die because the film ends with her driving off, being taken by Freddy, but it's still a dream.
I think
that
that's
explains
a
why
dream.
she's not dead in the third film.
Yeah. Because look, it's shot overly bright. She's missing.
And the ending is very much okay. You got to be clear with what happened at the end of this movie. Wes Craven just wanted it to be basically like a happy ending. Like she woke up and the whole thing was a dream.
Yeah.
The studio, Bob Shea in the studio, they're like, no. You got to do something. You got to have some kind of stinger. And then they also had the idea, well, if this is a hit, we maybe we want it left open for a sequel. And so it was like 3 or 4 different conflicting ideas. So there's like at least 3 different versions they shot of it. And the
There's
one that
4
wound
versions.
I was gonna say, and the one that wound up in the movie is like a conglomeration of all of them. That's why it's so batshit crazy. Like if anything's weird in this movie, it's this ending. And this has caused the debate on, is the whole movie a dream? Is just the last quarter a dream? Some people think she has like this whole thing's like a premonition, and then like she's gonna wake up and actually live this through, and then so it's like it's really weird how this movie ends. So I'm curious to hear what everybody thinks about it, but yeah.
Well, there's that documentary that came out back in the early 2000s called "The House That Freddy Built."
Yep.
And New Line Cinema pushed, and I remember it's in that documentary, the fight between them, because they wanted to set it up to where there could be potentially more, and West didn't want that.
Yeah.
And of course, New Line won. And it became
that's because they bought
most...
the rights to the character too. That's why,
That's right. Yeah.
And actually, we have an interview with Bob Shea where he talks about some of that stuff.
It's tragic in my opinion because I'd love to have seen Wes Craven's actual vision of what the film should have been. But yeah, Mom says, I'm going to stop drinking. I just don't feel like it anymore.
Yeah, right. Now you should have known it was a fucking dream.
Yeah, exactly. And the mist in the yard.
That and her getting pulled through the small...
the doll house.
Yeah.
Oh,
you're the mom's in all white. So
the Easter colors are Easter colors. And then the red car, the Christine-like car.
Well, his car is the same. The difference is when the top comes up, it's Freddy colors.
Yeah, it's Freddy stripes.
And then one of the alternate ones has Freddy actually driving the car.
Yes,
Yeah.
that was one that Anima brought up earlier.
Yep.
And by the way, when the roof comes down on the kids, it wasn't meant to come down that hard, so the expression on their faces and the reaction was genuine.
They got all
That was
startled.
real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mom's just waving and then gets pulled through the window by Freddy's arm.
Get ready to pause it.
There it is.
You have
Oh
it.
my god.
Look at those arms and the face.
The miniature. Oh, it's great. I love this movie so much. And because it's a dream, then that's okay.
Yeah.
Because dreams can be fudged up like that, man.
That's what I thought was genius about this movie, because the movie is literally titled A Nightmare on Elm Street. So it tells you it's a nightmare, but you're not associating that the entire time. Or at least that's my interpretation of the movie. That the title is literally what's going on. This is all a nightmare.
They wanted to confuse the audience. You're not supposed to be all clear. Is it a dream? Is it not? To have it open-ended and have the possibility for sequels.
Yeah.
They were in for the money.
Yeah.
But I'm glad they made that documentary, because I don't think many people would have known about Wes Craven's frustration over the film if not for that documentary. And of course, it's true that New Line Cinema built its foundation on Freddy Krueger.
Hey, Capitano's in the house.
Hey, Capitano, what's up, brother?
You know what? That rhyme at the end actually almost talks about all the movies. 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you. 3, 4, better lock the back door.
I got that.
We missed you. We missed you, Shay.
I think this is the best bridge that we have ever had.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I guess I owe him a video.
Yep.
What shall I play?
He said something about the Gronk video. I don't know which one that one is.
I don't think I. Oh wait, this one.
That's the ultimate
This one.
breach video.
This is the one he wants right here.
Everlight, protect Grog and the rest of our friends, wherever they are.
I still wince when that happens.
I know.
There's no better breach video than that one.
Put a small watermelon up your ass. What?
I think Gary and I, when we watched that, we were laughing our asses off for 5 minutes straight.
Oh,
this remake should be forgotten. It should just
No.
be put a moratorium.
It should never
released
be
again.
forgotten, because you will be doomed to repeat it.
It should be held up for all time as an example of how not to do a remake.
Indeed.
I always kind of hold that those kids you see at the end were some of the original kids Freddy murdered.
Once again, this episode is brought to you by No Dose. When you have a demonic force hunting you in your sleep, No Dose does the trick.
Gary, do you want to mention how small the budget was for this movie?
Yes, 1.1 million.
Wow.
That's all they had. You
And
know,
also they shot it
1980s
within
money,
32
That would
days.
be
so there's only, they had to have that one visual effect when she turns her back on him and he goes to attack her and then he cosmically just disappears.
Turns into sparkles.
It's animation. That's like the only non-in-camera effect used in the film. Is there a
They actually lost one of the video deals 2/3 of the way through production, and they couldn't pay the crew. So everybody was revolting and they were about to leave. So that means everything was about to get shut down, and they begged for everybody to stick around, and they'd work something out, and they managed to pull like some payday loan deal off just to keep everybody working, because they lost their video deal at the last minute, and I can't remember who it was through, but they ended up picking it up one through
So they got
Media
a
Home
predatory
Entertainment.
loan?
Yeah, basically.
What's
Just to
that-
finish.
Was that part of the reason why
Okay.
they shot it in only 32 days? Because that blew my mind when I found that out.
Yeah, that was the other thing, is Bob Shade said they didn't have any time to shoot it. They had to get it done because they had a guarantee loan as well from the original people. I think it was Smart Egg or whoever that is listed as the I don't know. It says at the beginning of the movie. But yeah, they had to get it done by a certain date, or they had to forfeit the movie and they lose it. And yeah, it was a big mess because Bob didn't have the money to do a movie like that at the time. You guys got to understand, and I'd recommend somebody if you haven't already, check out our interview with Bob Shea, so you can kind of understand how, like, Gary's not kidding when people say that New Line is the house that Freddie built. It was, because he was literally running the business out of the back of his car in an apartment for
If you watch that
years.
documentary, there's some shenanigans going on. There were some shenanigans.
Which documentary? I haven't
from the
seen.
studio. The house that Freddie built.
Oh,
That
that
came out
one.
in
Yeah,
06.
yeah. Okay. I didn't know which one you were talking about. I didn't know if there was a newer one.
It is
out
a
there.
really good documentary. And
Yeah,
Wes
that's
Craven
on
is in
the
it.
one. Yeah, and there's some other documentaries out there, but I mean, we talked to him a little bit about it. Just the idea, though, of how just a pioneer he was in getting out there and getting movies distributed. And, you know, he made this deal with Wes, and Wes was leery about it, and no other studio wanted to make it because the last couple movies about dreams had flopped. And in fact, what's his face? Dennis Quaid had just had a movie in Dreamscape, which did horribly at the box office and had a lot of similarities to Nightmare on Elm Street. So, like, it was like Bob Shea was the only one who really believed in it, and he got it. And yeah, it's one of those things where after that they were able to make more and more films. They were able to make Critters and a bunch of other movies that helped them
I love
kind of become
Critters.
more than just, you know, the Freddy company. Yeah.
So
It all led to
adjusted for
Ninja
inflation-
Turtles and Lord of the Rings eventually.
By the way, I
just-
saw Tim just joined us, and hold on, I got to
Yes,
do my Tim
and-
thing.
By what name are you known?
There are some who call me Tim.
And he gives us this new.
Yes, what did he say?
Oh,
Gary's mom just died.
Piper Laurie.
Oh, man, Piper Laurie just died. No, he made another comment before that I wanted to read.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Yeah, it just happened.
God damn it.
Oh, he's I see what it is. He says he says, just got here, guys. Can you start the show over again?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's always asking us to start when we're minutes away from starting. He's asking us to keep going when we're done with the show, and he wants us to start all over as soon as he joins. He just likes fucking with
No,
us.
this is Tom Connor, not John Connor. That's here.
All right. So adjusted for inflation, 1.1 million is
It's 2.75. You
3,258,000.
multiply the total by 2.75. And if you've got 1.1, what is the answer? 2.75. I'm sorry. It's a math joke. So by today's standards, it was 2.75 million.
And I think they broke even
I
after
think
the
I
first
broke
weekend.
Shanatsky on that.
Oh, you did.
Okay. No, I typed into an inflation calculator. So
We also lost
Yes.
one of the Isley brothers yesterday.
So both of them are dead now.
Piper
Right.
Laurie couldn't have been that old, though. How old was she?
She would have been in her 70s, I would
Really?
imagine.
Oh, I thought
Variety
she
is
was
saying
that.
she was 91.
Oh,
Oh
wow.
my God, get out of here. Really?
I thought she was young. Wait a minute. Wow, really?
Oh, she was born in 32.
Wow.
wow.
God, I'm fucking old.
Yeah, she was Carrie's mom, man.
Yeah, and she was in
Once
Twin
she
Peaks.
understood what her character
Oh.
was in that, she relished that role. She nailed it.
We're just losing all the greats, man. We don't got people to replace them.
Yeah, because these days they cast for looks, not for talent.
Yeah.
Yep.
I like War Monkey. He says math jokes like that one can be problematic.
I just hate how they follow a formula.
Well, there's understanding story
Shut up,
structure,
John.
which is proper formula, and then there's just copying and pasting, and there's too much copying and pasting these days.
Most people, or most folks, call me Jim. Any more thoughts on the film? And then we can wrap up.
It's probably the best of the big three.
And what are the big three?
Jason, Freddy, and Michael.
Oh, yeah, because I was explaining to Anima last night that the most wonderful thing about the 80s, man, technically the late 70s, was the fact that we got monsters again. Universal Monsters was all we had until the 80s. And then we started getting new monsters with Freddy, Jason, Michael, and these were great monster characters, and they sold big bucks.
Yep.
And every single time, I mean, they built so much, they made so much money, dude. So much bank off these creatures.
Well, horror movies are cheaper to produce than most other movies anyway.
Yep.
Oh,
Freddy was kind of in the middle though. Like Freddy cost a little bit more than the other guys, but also he made a little bit more than the other guys.
Yep. Another one, of course, is the Alien. Because even though Alien came out in 79, the fact is Cameron's Aliens is what made the Alien monster blow up.
Yeah.
And he was another one of those Hollywood monsters. So, thanks to the 80s, we got a new, what's the word I'm looking for, Tom? It's not a rebirth, but it's a new opportunity. Renaissance. Thank you, for monsters. Thank you. That's the word I wanted. Renaissance.
Renaissance is reborn. It's a rebirth.
Yeah, it is a rebirth. And that's what the 80s were. And that's why I tell people when they want to talk about the 90s or the 70s, I'm like, the rebirth for so much was the 80s. It was a rebirth for music. It was a rebirth for horror in particular. And action films, to be honest.
Yep.
One crossover, given how the Universal Monsters would cross over. Yeah, and I got to tell you, though, that by the time they started crossing over, it got really weak, which is why a lot of the actors were just doing it for the payday. I think the best crossover film, honestly, was where they introduced horror and comedy, was Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein.
Yep.
And because you would still have peril. The characters would still be in actual peril, which was great. Because I grew up watching Abbott and Costello, man. And my God, when the Boris Karloff movie, Abbott and Costello Meet the Killer, that is a great film. When Costello is trapped in that cavern, is about to die, I was on the edge of my seat watching that movie, just like, oh my God, Freddy's gonna die, because that's his name in the movie, Freddy.
Horror and comedy are actually very similar because it's all
they
about
belong together.
Payoff.
It is like, okay, you got your chocolate on my peanut butter. You got your peanut butter in my chocolate. You get Reese's Cups. They're amazing. That's comedy and horror. They work well together. Fright Night's a great example of it. Lost Boys, too. Lost Boys, for all of its horror aspects of that film, has some great chuckle moments in it. I mean, Tom, I got to know, did you like that scene when he says, I'm going to tell Mom, when he finds that his brother's a vampire? Tom's gone.
Yeah. Tom's muted.
I was going to say, I have Frankenstein, Abbott and Costello Meet Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, The Mummy,
The
Killer, The Invisible Man, and also not monsters, but the Keystone Cops, and They Go to Mars. And Captain Kidd.
What I really liked was at the end of the movie, Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein. Vincent Price voiced the Invisible Man. So when I went to watch Abbott and Costello Meet the Invisible Man, I expected Vincent Price, but it's not.
No.
And also, Boris Karloff comes back again, didn't he? Wasn't he in the Jekyll and Hyde one? Was that Boris Karloff?
I'm not 100% sure. I'll tell you in a second.
I'm looking it up.
I thought Frederick March was Jekyll and Hyde.
Yeah, Boris Karloff is Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. There you go. Yeah.
Oh, okay, I got the wrong movie then.
Yeah, and Invisible Man, I can't remember. I'm going to go look. Who was the Invisible Man? William Frawley is in that. That's right. He's the cop. And Gavin Muir played the Invisible Man in that. Not a very well-known actor.
Yeah.
And I thought it was the weaker of the films. But Boris was great, yeah, as Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Hey, Cam's here. What's up? It's just great to see everyone. Girlfriend on You're on the Way doesn't get YouTube, and how much y'all have helped me. Oh, man.
That's why we're here.
We're just here to entertain and tell you stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm here to tell you fucked up stories.
Oh, yes. That is true. It's true. That is true.
Gary, have you seen The Son of the Invisible Man from Amazon Women on the Moon? I have never. I have that movie on my hard drive, and I've still yet to watch it. I have still not seen that one. There are several parody films that I've got that I've never had a chance to watch. By the way, I just got a hold of my buddy, and he's going to get me a copy of that Robert Englund documentary.
Oh yeah, Gary, were you able to get the one movie I sent you? The O'Bannon one?
Dan O'Bannon?
Yeah. It's like Scatterbrain, the Charles Dexter Ward one.
I don't recall you sending it to me.
I did. I believe it was like I sent you a thing on Facebook.
What was it? Year did it come out?
Is referred to as The Resurrected. It came out like it was 1991 because it has the same guy.
I love the movie Dead and Buried. I know I brought that up with you, but I don't think I got that.
I sent Tuesday. Check your Facebook message.
I'm looking. I don't
Tuesday,
see it in
10:30.
his list of credits. It's called Resurrected?
The Resurrected. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to read you off his films. Bloodbath, Dark Star, Alien, Phobia, Dead and Buried, Heavy Metal, Blue Thunder, The Return of the Living Dead, Life Force, Invaders from Mars, Aliens, Total Recall, Alien 3, Alien vs. Predator, Screamers. I love that movie, by the way. Screamers is a great film. One of the few 90s films that I really dug. Bleeders, Alien, it's not in here, dude.
No, Chris Sarandon.
Oh, Chris Sarandon. You said O'Bannon.
It was by O'Bannon.
Did you write it?
Yeah, he directed it. Dan O'Bannon. Yeah, 1991.
We shall consult the scrolls.
What are directed? There it
This
is.
sounds
Okay,
vaguely
Resurrected. 1991.
Gary, I just looked. I'm afraid I can't hook you up with Gunhead. It is only an SD copy.
Yeah, see, it's the same one I've got. Okay, I've seen that movie. I've seen this movie. Yes. I actually do remember this movie. The 90s were a blur to me because I was in the Army and all that crap. But I do, once I saw the poster and then like the trailer image, I'm like, oh, I've seen that movie. So I've seen it. Shinatsky.
Good.
So, but we're going to wrap up here. It's been great. That was a lot of fun. I hope you guys enjoyed being on here. E. Clay Thomason is here. Let me say hi to everybody that joined us during the show. Andy Morrow, Slasher Fred, Jesse Guajardo. Okay, Continuum Chronicles, Lady V Elements, Admiral Teague, DJ Ronnie G, Penny, Connie Cleary, Emotionally Unstable Amphibian. I love that name. Kitty Bear, Boosh McFadden, Read by Nature, Latino Slant Polly was here. The Peter Brinkman fan site, also known as Brinkman's Girl on Twitter. Kingsport Cal. Good to see you, Cal. Man, it's been a while. Lord Thoth, all hail, Lord Thoth. Our Muslim uncle was here. Assalamu alaikum. Shrek PMC. Stop Being Stupid Gary. Oh, nope, that's not a name. That's a message to me from deleted scenes. Kevin Tito, Government J. K. Roberts, FKHC 2005, aka Tim.
Barrel's Head has
and
just
of course,
arrived.
Dax was here. Kyle.
Yeah.
Parrot Head. Holy crap. Look who's here. Right in time for the ending. Aren't you happy for yourself?
And with a really lame breach.
Well done.
Yeah.
And of course, I want to thank my good friend Greg from Fanzine for being here. God, it's good to do a show with him again. We haven't done one in almost 2 years. It's been about 2 years since he and I streamed together. That was fun. He's just chock full of knowledge too. And of course, it's always great when Tom drops in, man. I fucking love Tom. I want to thank my girlfriend for being my girlfriend and letting me touch her bitty parts. No.
Jesus Christ. Sometimes I really don't know how I tolerate this guy.
And of course, Das Wolf and John was here. Deleted Scenes, always good to see you. Always good to see Shinatsky. And I think the biggest laugh of the show is something Shinatsky said. And of course, Martina Castacentena for being the right side of my brain and helping make this show happen. Everybody, I want you to have a great, great Saturday. Go watch some horror films. It is the time of the year to watch horror, period.
Yep.
And
Amber Gillard's filmography.
And join us next Saturday for The Lost Boys.
Lost Boys with Tom and Jerry. That's right. We'll be talking about that show. It'll be fun. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.